Brilliance Audio presents If All the Seas Were Ink, a memoir by Ilana Kurshan, performed by Dow Rosenberg. When I began studying Tractate Yoma, I hung a Xeroxed map of the temple inside the front door of my studio apartment, right in the spot where hotels generally feature a floor map with the nearest fire exits marked. Most of the tractate is essentially a guided tour of the temple, following in the footsteps of the high priest as he enacts the various rituals of Yom Kippur. With each page of Yoma, I tracked my path on the map as I wound through the temple's chambers and vestibules. I witnessed as the high priest slaughtered goats, sprinkled blood on the altar, and donned gold and white vestments with a breastplate and tinkling bells. My apartment was tiny and square, with a kitchen counter and mini fridge against one wall, a bathroom in the opposite corner, and a desk along the adjacent wall beneath my only window, where I hung my laundry out to dry over a narrow ledge that my cultured European landlady generously referred to as a Romeo and Juliet balcony. The floor was made of square tiles decorated in a green and brown floral pattern. There was no couch or armchair or other place to sit, but I so rarely had visitors that it didn't seem to matter. My bed was lofted above the kitchen area up a steep and rickety ladder leading toward a high ceiling, and it wasn't a proper bed, but just a mattress that I'd purchased secondhand and transported home precariously on the roof of a cab. I had no proper bookshelves, so I stacked my books in the closet. Another stack of books served as a nightstand on which I rested my glasses, if I remembered to take them off. Most nights, I fell asleep reading with the lights on. My novel collapsed over my face like a tent with my nose marking my place. The heroine in one of Margaret Drabble's novels revels in the splinterish delight of crawling alone into bed with a book. And I could relate. Not just at the beginning of the night, but also at 3 a.m., when I woke up, pleased to have those stolen midnight moments to my conscious self, and in the early morning hours, when I arose before my alarm clock and read by the light streaming through my open window. I had books I would read only in bed. They lived under the blankets and waited patiently while I read more respectable volumes during daylight hours. Writing in bed, too, was a newfound pleasure. There were entries in my journal that I was able to write only under cover of darkness, as if I could not expose these negatives to the harsh light of day. And there were, if I was honest, many negatives. But I was rarely honest. For a while, I could not own up to the reality of my situation because I did not even know who I was. Each morning, I walked mechanically to the library to continue working on the book about the temple's destruction I'd begun ghostwriting during the year my marriage fell apart. I was grateful that the material was not my own because I was incapable of original thought. I felt cut off from the ideas that had once animated me and from the emotions that had once transported me. One night, Andrea came over to regale me with stories of her latest crush. "He works at the coffee shop where I've been writing my articles," she gushed. "I mean, just to make some money on the side. He's really a writer. He's given me a draft of his novel to read, and it's a love story. How much should I read into that?" I didn't know what to tell her. Romantic love seemed like a thing of the past, a place where I had once lived and whose hills and valleys I could map out with complete accuracy, yet a place to which I was sure I would never return. I resolved that if I was destined to spend the rest of my life alone, then at least I should not feel lonely. While I remained warm toward the few friends I had, I treated myself with cool indifference. I imagined that if the temperatures within plummeted low enough, then any hopes I dared to harbor would scamper to the corners and die in the cold. Every so often, though, those feelings rose to the surface and I had to confront what I knew to be true.